Hi everyone, it's me Gaming Do, and yep, it's here. We're finally at the end of an era. Today is the last episode of 20 Questions. Now, you may be asking, why are you ending 20 Questions, Gaming Do? Well, I will actually mainly answer that during the questions themselves, as I got that put down, but, um, yeah, without further ado, let's do one last round of 20 questions before this is it. This is the last one. So, here we go. Number one, what's your least favorite type of video to do? Loud house videos, and it's not even close. And the number one reason why is because it gets the most views, and it's definitely the hardest video to do because you gotta rewatch so many episodes to do these reviews again, and it's kind of hard to just sit down and watch the series because as much as I haven't, what I'm trying to say is I haven't quit the series yet, but I'm sort of getting back into the fact that I'm realizing that I'm not liking it as much as I used to again, so it is kind of difficult to just sit down and watch an episode nowadays, especially from seasons 4 onward. I can sit down and watch the first 3 seasons just fine, except for the really bad episodes, but seasons 4 onward, it's kind of hard to watch. I'm really not a huge fan, and with that, it's just kind of hard to review the episodes. Mainly because they get the most views and I had to pay the most careful attention to them because I know they'll get the most views. But, yeah, by far my least favorite type of videos to do is Loud House videos. I pretty much like doing the rest of the videos I do, it's just Loud House videos. Not that I hate it, or even, I won't even go as far to say I dislike it, but it's the most tedious videos to do, and I by far take the most takes when I do Loud House videos, so yeah. Number two, how many countries have you been to? I've been to two. Here in the United States, where I live, and Canada, where my family lives. My dad's side of the family. I've I went there pretty much every single year until 2019. I'm not really going to get into that, but there's a reason I don't really go there anymore, but that's very personal, so I won't get into that, but um, I'm sure we'll go back someday, though, but anywho, that's not the point. The point is, I've been to Canada many times in my life. That's where my family lives, and we see each other. We went to see each other once a year for multiple years. We planned out events to go around Newfoundland, which is the island they lived on, and we saw all the cool things there, like the beautiful wildlife and some of the best outdoorsy stuff I've ever been in. It's beautiful. And as for countries I'd love to go to, it's plenty more. I'd love to go to Egypt. I'd love to go to Australia. I'd love to go to South Africa. I don't know about South Africa. That country's pretty dangerous, but maybe Tanzania? Or any country in Europe like France, Italy, Germany, Greece. There's a lot of countries I'd love to go to. But the only two I have been to is Canada and the United States. Hopefully a third one will come up pretty soon, but Might be a little while, but I'd love to go to another country one day. But as far as the countries I have been to, it's only the United States and Canada. Number 3, why are you ending 20 questions? Well, think about it. I've been doing 20 rounds of 20 questions. It's starting to get hard to come up with 20 questions. So, with that, it's just getting repetitive at this point. I gotta really come up with questions in the back of my mind. And yes, nobody asked these questions, but it's details that basically get you to know me a little bit better. So, I come up with them every month, and, yeah. Well, to make a long story short, I'm ending 20 questions mainly because it's getting a bit repetitive and hard to think about the questions themselves. Excuse. Oh, gee whiz. But, anyways, it's mainly just getting hard to do the 20 questions themselves. What am I trying to say? Basically what I said. It's getting hard to come up with questions, so that's why I'm no longer doing 20 questions, because it's getting hard and repetitive, so I'm not really planning on doing 20 questions no more. In fact, as of this final question, this series will be over. Number 4, what's your favorite horror franchise? A Nightmare on Elm Street. What I love about Nightmare on Elm Street is how unique of a franchise it is, where, unlike most horror franchises, this franchise mainly takes place in the dream world, where if you get killed in your dream, you die for real in real life. That is freaking scary to think about. And it is probably the most unique concept out of any horror franchise. That's why I think it's the best. In terms of pure quality, the series definitely went downhill for a while there, but it got back up with New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason, just to kind of dip down again with the remake, but that's the series in quality might not be the best, but I love it the most because of how unique of a franchise it is, and it always holds a special place in my heart. I've been watching that series since I was 12 years old, so yeah, I've been watching it for a while now. Number 5, what would you like in a future girlfriend? Listen, the main thing I want is just a nice person. That's it's not all I really want, but that's by far the main thing I want. Main thing I'm looking for in a future significant other is that she is a kind, nice person who loves me for the way I am. Now, I'm not saying I'd never make changes for her, but I want somebody who loves me. You know? Romance is about love and accepting each other. So, that's what I want. I don't really care about looks all that much. That doesn't really matter to me. I have my preferences, but that 0.000000005% about what I want. It's about somebody who truly loves me. That's the main thing I want in a future significant other. Just somebody who loves me and wants to be with me forever. That's what I want. It's pretty simple, I think. But that's the main thing I want. I'm not some guy who's like, I want a girl with all these features. Well, I might prefer it in a way. It's not my main thing. My main thing is I want a girl who loves me for who I am and wants to be with me forever. And yeah, that's what I want. I'm not some guy who's mainly looking for looks. I'm looking for personality and a really nice person. Number 6, what's your favorite and least favorite thing in the world? My favorite thing in the world is family. I love my family to death. They mean the world to me. I'm so glad I have such a close family still. At least my immediate family, I'm very close to. But yeah, family is one of the most important things in the world to me because they're some of the only people who truly support me still. They love me and care about me and want to see what's best for me. They're not just like random strangers who want nothing to do with me. They want something to do with me, and I love that. And my family truly cares the world for me, and I love that, and I show it in return. I love my family, and it's the most important thing in the world to me. My least favorite thing in the world is a two-way tie. It's drama and politics. I'd say I hate politics a little tiny bit less than drama, but I hate politics. I hate talking about it. I hate when people bring it up. You know why? Because it reminds me of the issues that are going on with the real world. I don't really want to think about that stuff. There's millions of people who do. Leave me out of it. Seriously. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's millions of people in the world who worry about politics. I don't want to be one of them. I don't care about politics at all. It's not this. Well, I wouldn't say at all. I have some preferences, but compared to most people in the United States, I don't really care about politics all that much. It really, I don't really care, you know? I don't really care who wins. I don't really care who loses. I just, unless a major war breaks out or something around here, I don't really care too much. And even then, I don't want to fight in it or anything, but I show care towards the war. But, I really don't care too much about politics. But I hate drama even more because as good as things can be with family, every single family in the world gets into arguments, but I particularly hate it because, well, nobody really gets into arguments with me, but sometimes the family gets into arguments with themselves that's not me, and I hate witnessing it because it's just like they were happy not too long ago, and all of a sudden they're going down each other's throats. And it makes me sad mainly. It's like, I hate it. It's dramatic, and it actually mainly doesn't have to do with my immediate family, but there's some drama that happens with my family and, like, my aunts and uncles and stuff like that, and it's something I absolutely hate. I wish we could all just get along, but I guess we can't have that, can we? But yeah, my favorite thing in the world is family, and my least favorite things are both politics and drama. Number 7. What's your favorite thing to collect? If you were talking to Gaming Do in, like, 2012 through 18, I would say that would be retro games. I used to love to collect retro games. I used to love to collect, especially the Nintendo ones. But around 2018, I started to realize that they're porting all these games to modern consoles. So I really don't have to go out and buy a Nintendo 64 to play these games anymore. Excuse me. So, yeah, for 2019 and 2020, well, really 2019, I really didn't collect much at all. I think I was still kind of in my retro game phase in 2022, but not 2022, 2020, but I meant 2020 as well. But anywho, 2020 was sort of the last year that I think I was collecting retro games. Around 2021 is when I stopped because I realized that they're porting most of these games to modern consoles, so I don't have to buy a retro console to play them anymore. So, as for what I'm collecting right now, it's mainly geography books. You know, I love collecting books to read about different states and countries and stuff like that, and it's really neat. I've also started a Pokemon card collection that I'm not too serious about right now, but I have a fair amount of cards now, and my most prized possession is my Radiant Greninja, which even so isn't worth that much, but it's definitely the neatest looking card in my collection. So, yeah, I haven't been collecting Pokemon for long, but as of last year, I've sort of been getting back into Pokemon. I actually kind of like the games now. And yeah, like I said, you saw last year that I got Let's Go Pikachu and Diamond, the whatever, Brilliant Diamond for Christmas last year. So yeah, I'm starting to kind of get back into Pokemon. Not as much as some people are, but I'm sort of getting back into it. And yeah, so it's a mix of mainly geography books, but I'm collecting a few Pokemon cards. I'm thinking of starting to collect Marvel comic books again, because I'll reveal that next week, or not next week. I'll reveal that later in the video on one of the questions, but I'm going somewhere next Saturday that involves me going to a comic book shop, and I'm thinking of getting the Secret Wars comic. I've really wanted to read about that, especially after the... Ooh, I don't think I've talked about that yet. I will probably get on to my separate thoughts on the MCU Comic-Con reveals sometime later this week, but I'm mainly excited. A few of them were like, really? That's it? But mainly I'm excited for it. But, anywho. My favorite things to collect are geography books mainly and Pokemon cards. Kind of. A little bit. I'm not serious about it yet, but I could become serious about it one day. Number 8. Are you going to vlog again soon? Holy crap, that's the next direct question. I'll be answering that. Yes. I'm going to be vlogging next Saturday, with the release of the video probably being Sunday morning, because I'm going somewhere that I have been waiting to vlog for years now. I wanted to do it in 2018. I didn't think to get the freaking camera out. I wanted to do it this January because I went there. I didn't think to get the freaking camera out. This time, I'm not skipping the camera, because next week I'm going to be vlogging a trip to Somerville, New Jersey, which is one of my favorite towns in the state. I love it because it's got all these neat shops and restaurants in the area, and overall it's just an amazing little town. I don't really think it's a small town. It's kind of a really big town, but it's a town that's just awesome. It's Got so many cool shops and stuff like that. It's a great place to go to. I love going to Somerville every time I go there, especially the Yestercade they got there, which I'm definitely going to next week. I'll be vlogging that too. They got a retro arcade there. They got so many cool shops. It's awesome. I love going there every time I go there. So yes, I will be vlogging that next week. As for what I'm going to be vlogging next, I don't know, but I know I'll be vlogging that next week. So hope to see you on that. That should be out next Sunday morning. Number 9, do you watch college sports? Yes, I do. I used to just watch college basketball, as I was a particular fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Especially during the 2020-2021 season. But I still watched their games last year when they played, or earlier this year when they played. But I'm sort of getting into college football, and I'm kind of finding it a bit hard to pick a team to watch, but I really do. I like the sense of rivalry and representation of their state. That being said, I'm not a big fan of my state's big college, which is Rutgers. They're not, well, compared to a lot of teams, they're not that successful, so I'm not a huge fan of them. I know what you're saying. The Lions are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you like them. Well, that goes down to childhood, and I've loved them since I was a child. I've been to Rutgers games before, but I never was particularly... I just wanted to watch a football game, mainly, is what I was thinking when I watched that. Now that I'm sort of getting into college sports, my main interest is on the rival between Ohio State and Michigan. And to me, I'm sort of leaning on Ohio State because they just seem to be more successful. In general, they seem to be one of the best college football teams of all. I ain't going to be rooting for them during the basketball season, but when it's football time, they seem like a cool team to root for. So, I might have to lean on Ohio State being my favorite college football team. But yeah, I do watch college sports, mainly basketball, and starting this year, I'm going to try to watch some college football. And my favorite teams are the Iowa Hawkeyes and, guess I could say, Ohio State Buckeyes. I sort of like college sports in a certain way more than regular sports because it's kind of rising talent and the fandom seems less toxic with college sports. It just seems more normal. The fans seem more normal. But, yeah. I like college sports. And I'm sort of starting to get a rising opinion on it. I liked it at first, especially college basketball. But now I'm starting to really like college sports. So... yeah, and I'm starting to lean on liking the Ohio State Buckeyes for football and the Iowa Hawkeyes for basketball. As for which one I like more, I don't know. We'll see, but yes, I watch college sports. Number 10. How much music do you listen to? I listen to music every single day without fail. Music is one of the biggest things I do, or listening to music. Whenever I'm stressed or just in the mood for it, I just put on my freaking headphones and I listen to music. I love listening to music. My favorite genre to listen to is rock. I listen to also a little bit of older pop music. Nothing like Taylor Swift or Katy Perry or whoever modern, like Billie Eilish or something like that, but I listen to a little bit of like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I guess you could kind of call that R&B instead, but I listen to a bit of Earth, Wind, and Fire, a little bit of Michael Jackson, and some of the older pop singers I listen to, but I mainly listen to rock music, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath. I listen to a lot of 90s grunge bands like Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. Yeah, I listen to a lot of music, mainly rock music, but I listen to a tiny bit of pop music too, but mainly rock. I'm a rock fan through and through. I love rock music. Number 11, what's your favorite movie? I don't know if I've ever done this question. If I did, it was during the very early days of Gaming Do. But my favorite movie of all time is War for the Planet of the Apes. That film just had the biggest reaction on me of any movie I have ever seen. I love that movie to death. From its story to its characters to its tragic ending to the terrible things the main villain does, this film is just one of the best movies I've ever seen. I love this film to death, and honestly, you ask me what my second favorite film of all time is, it's a severe tonal change, but I'd have to go with the first Toy Story. That film just means so much to me throughout my whole life, but War for the Planet of the Apes had the biggest impact on me. I love that film. As for what my favorite film is of 2022 so far, that would be by far The Batman. But I've seen a couple other films that have honestly come pretty close. The closest so far is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That film is just so wacky and crazy, but it tells its story perfectly that I love it. I think it's an amazing film. And then my third favorite film of the year is The Black Phone. That is the best horror movie I have seen in years. It's so scary and tense and gives you the real creeps that it's an amazing movie. But my favorite movie of all time is War for the Planet of the Apes. I love that film and always have since I saw it. Holy fuck. It's been 5 years since I saw that film for the first time in theaters. That's crazy to think that it's been 5 years since I saw that film. But, yeah, my favorite movie of all time is War for the Planet of the Apes. I love that film. 12. What do you want your career to be? Like my future career? If I'm being honest, something that can get me a fair bit of money and I can have a good income to raise a family and stuff like that and raise kids and support a family and get a decent house. That's the main thing I'm looking for. But if I had to pick, I'm sorry about that, guys. Luna's barking right now. Try to ignore it. If I had to pick a future career, I would say something to do with animals. I'd really love to work with animals, whether that's I don't really think I'd want to be a vet, but maybe a park ranger or a zookeeper or something like that. I think that'd be cool. I also wouldn't mind doing stuff with film. I went to cinematography class in technical school for 4 years, and I have a certificate for cinematography, and um, yeah, I think I might want to do that too. I would love to mainly direct the film, just be in charge of my own film, be in charge of everything. I'd probably have to go back and study a few things, but um, I will be the first one to admit I wasn't the best student in that class, but if I was me right now, I would definitely pay attention more in that class and be more productive. I don't think I was the worst kid in that class, but I wasn't the best by far. But if I was me now, I would definitely be a lot better, as I've grown up a ton since I was in that class. I would totally just jot down all the notes that were required. I'd go down to every set to help out and stuff like that. But hey, I got my certificate, so if anybody needs help with something cinematography related, I'm here. I'll help out more than I ever have. Um, but that's besides the point. The point is, my future career, I think I'd mainly lean on wanting to do stuff with animals, like a zookeeper, a park ranger, but I wouldn't mind doing some cinema work as well. Or something geography related, like a geography teacher at school. That'd be cool, but I think I'd mostly just like to work with animals. I think that'd be awesome. I love animals and I'd love to work with them. Number 13, what did you think of each grade in school? Oh boy. This is going to be long, but I will go into it. I first started school when I went to kindergarten in 2007 and 8. I didn't like it very much. I kind of had a bit of a mean but misunderstanding teacher, so I can't totally blame her, but school to me didn't get off on the greatest start. First grade was awesome, second grade was awesome, third grade was the worst school year of all. I had a teacher that like purposely excluded me from stuff and saw me as the black sheep of the class and constantly was the one who yelled at me all the time when she really didn't yell at anybody else. It was just me. And I didn't misbehave all that much in that class. I was a good kid. She just had it out for me. And that's the one teacher that I can say truly just had it out for me. Fourth grade was cool. Fifth grade was probably the best year of school for me. That year was just amazing. I had an amazing teacher that year. No, I had all amazing teachers that year, but my science and history teacher in fifth grade was the best teacher I've ever had. He was amazing. Sixth grade was good too. Seventh grade, I would lean on not being that great, but it's by far better than some of the other school years. Eighth grade was just on the cusp of being good. It was a good final year for middle school. Now we get into high school. Freshman year was not very good. I think I mainly have to attribute that to, just not fitting into the school at first. Eventually, I found my footing in the school, but I actually found my footing in the school late freshman year, but the early parts of freshman year were very, very hard to deal with. Sophomore year was a different story. Sophomore year was awesome. I actually loved sophomore year. I found that very, very great, very fun, very... it brings me back to a time that's great, but now thinking about it, it's a bit bittersweet because I had a close friend then that I am no longer friends with because of a falling out, but I still go back to think that I really liked freshman year. Or, no, I didn't like freshman year. I really liked sophomore year. Junior year, probably the second worst year, but I still think I overall liked it. This year is when I started to grow up a little bit. I started to get into. This is kind of when I started to get into geography first, around 2019, and, I started to do some of my growing up a bit junior year. Senior year was really good for the most part. It definitely had some hardships, but it was mostly good until March 2020 when the whole world went to shit with COVID, and that cut my senior year short, and I had to graduate online. And they had a little physical graduation for us, but the only reason I didn't go is because I thought I had COVID. I actually had a really bad cough the day they had that little physical graduation. It was a little social distance graduation for the class of 2020. I really wanted to go to it, but the only reason is I thought I had COVID. I was really sick with a really bad cough during those times, and I didn't want to scare anybody, or get somebody sick just in case I had it. But I didn't want to risk anything, so unfortunately, I didn't go because I thought I had COVID. So, but yeah, so that's what I think of each year of school. I'm not even really going to count the term I took in college. That was alright. I put it over some school years, but most were kind of better than that. But, yeah. To make a long story short, most of my school years were actually pretty good. Most of high school I would classify as good, except for freshman year. I didn't like that year at all. Sophomore year was my favorite year. Probably behind 5th grade was my favorite year of school in general. I loved sophomore year. But anyways, what I thought of each grade in school, there you go. Those are my opinions. Number 14, what's your favorite 2022 meme? Mr. Incredible becomes uncanny. That has sort of finally died off. Well, Mr. Incredible becomes uncanny, sort of goes on breaks for a few months and then comes back. I see it coming back eventually, but I'm finally starting to get a little bit tired of it, but for 6 months, I really enjoyed it. That tells you how powerful that meme was. I like the Knuckles approves meme and the Michael Rosen approves meme, or Michael Rosen's opinion memes. But besides that, I don't really look at most memes anymore. I like the opinionated ones, and Mr. Incredible becomes uncanny. But Mr. Incredible becomes uncanny outdoes them all as my favorite meme, not only of 2022, but of the entire decade so far. I just think it's so creative and fun that I love it. Number 15. Has your opinion on TikTok changed? Yes, a little bit. Do I still think overall it's not a great website? Yes. That being said, there's actually some pretty normal people on there, who post normal content, and all you gotta do is just watch that. It's relatively easy to avoid the really weird and overall annoying content that's on there. It's easy to avoid is my main point. So, that's why I only follow like 20 people and only watch 20 people on there. But, still, I'm starting to realize it's not all that bad of a place. It's just you gotta watch out for the really weird accounts and the accounts that are just, I'd call heartless. But my opinion on TikTok is I definitely don't watch TikTok near to the degree of YouTube, but for my favorite ones, I watch them probably at least once a week on there. So, yeah, my opinion on TikTok has kind of changed. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but it's definitely changed a little bit. Number 16, what do you want for your 21st birthday? Um, the main two categories I want is clothes and books. The main thing I want for clothes is like memorabilia and gear for my favorite sports teams, and some geography related clothes as well, like hoodies and stuff like that. And books, I just want geography books and maybe even a few comic books. As for video games, since I got PlayStation Plus, the new one, there really isn't any new video games I currently want. So I don't really think I want any new video games, and I'll lean on the same thing with Blu-rays. I'm kind of leaning on wanting the Everything Everywhere All at Once Blu-ray, and maybe the Black Phone when that comes out, but I'm not really, don't really want that many Blu-rays. Mainly it's clothes and books I want for my birthday this year. Get some sports gear, maybe even get some new Ohio State sports gear. But yeah, I want mainly clothes and books for my birthday. I can't believe I'm saying that, because 10 years ago I would have had a huge frown on my face if I asked for that. Nowadays when I'm turning 21, that's what I want. And I also am going to a Mexican restaurant on my birthday to have a great time and have my first alcoholic beverages at a restaurant. What do I want for my first alcoholic beverage? Sangria! Yes, I want to drink some of their famous sangria at that restaurant. It's pretty famous there, but I want sangria. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much what I want for my 21st birthday, and yeah. Number 17, are you an athletic person? No. No, I am not an athletic person. Hate to admit it, I'm very overweight, but I am working on losing weight. I've lost almost 20 pounds this year. So it's not like Let me just put it to you like this. My peak weight of my entire life was 305 pounds. Which means, yes, I have been over 300 pounds. I'm not anymore. I weigh 289 at the current moment. So I've lost a fair bit of, I think I've lost, 16 pounds? So, yeah, I've lost a fair bit of weight. I'd love to lose more, and I'm planning on losing more, but compared to how I was last year, I've lost a lot of weight. But, that being said, I'm still not an athletic person. I run like a hippopotamus. I can run pretty fast, but only for short periods of time without getting tired. So, yeah, I am pretty unathletic. When it comes to sports, I mainly watch them or play the sports games because I'm decent at throwing basketballs. I wouldn't be able to be a player because I'm not very fast, but in terms of just shooting hoops, I'm actually pretty decent, and I like that, but that's about it. That's about the extent. And I like playing baseball, too. I like hitting the balls with the bat and pitching and stuff like that, but I don't think I'd ever be able to be a player. Um, Even when I was in high school, would think maybe, but I've gained so much weight during the pandemic that I don't think I'd be able to ever now. Well, not right now. I am planning on losing a lot of weight soon, but yeah. Mainly after my 21st birthday, I'm planning on going on a little bit of a diet that I'm going to stick to. So, my answer is no. Overall, I'm not a very athletic person. Number 18. How long do you see your channel lasting? Um, Without question, a few more years. I don't see it lasting forever because eventually it's either going to come to one that YouTube is just not going to be all that famous anymore, and two, um, I'm just going to lose interest kind of, and I'm not really going to know what to do with my channel anymore. So, for now, I'm definitely into doing YouTube, but since 2021, I've sort of been going on a downwards interest of doing it. Well, 2020 was kind of the peak of me just loving my channel to death, and I'd do anything for it. 2021 was the start of the downfall, and, well, I still love doing content on here. It's sort of going like I like other hobbies a little bit more, but I don't know. I kind of am still putting this as my main hobby, but as for how long I see my YouTube channel lasting, I would say probably through 2023 and 4, while 2025, that might be the end of my channel. We'll see. I don't know. I actually might be doing less content starting next year, like I said, but I'm starting to lean on actually going back on that and sort of keeping things the way they are in 2023 with YouTube. But yeah, definitely for the rest of this year, things will pretty much be the same. And I can see some of next year being pretty much the same, but yeah, I definitely see my channel lasting a few more years. That's the main point. Number 19. How do you reflect on 20 questions? So this is my overall review on 20 questions. My main goal for the 20 questions series is to get you to know me a little better. Basically, to tell you guys who I am and what I like and stuff like that. Just to let you know how I am as a person and my interests and stuff like that. That's what 20 questions is basically about. As for how I reflect on this, I've been doing this series for 5 years now, and it's very bittersweet to come to an end because it is coming to an end because I can't really come up with any more questions anymore. So I can't really say I don't want to end it because I do, but at the same time, I am going to miss it because I have been doing it for 5 years. So I reflect on 20 questions being a series that's been with me for a long time, and I am ultimately going to miss it. And here it is, the last question of 20 questions. Number 20. Do you have a little goodbye present for this series? Why, yes I do. You want to know what that is, guys? Do you really want to know what that is? Guys, with my reviews, what am I trying to say? With 20 questions coming to an end, that is one series coming to an end. However, with that coming to an end, we're going to be getting a new series starting. This is going to be a series called Gaming to Reviews. Yes, guys, I know that rhymes, but This is a series where from now on I will be doing my movie reviews, but not only that, I will also be doing game reviews and maybe reviews of restaurants I go to and stuff like that. These will just be general reviews of everything. I take a little bit of inspiration from Yoshi Player's Let's Tackle videos. I am not going to put them exactly like that, because that's being a copycat, and I don't want to be like that, but I am taking a bit of inspiration from that to sort of do just general reviews of stuff that I like. I'll be doing reviews of video games, movies, TV shows, and just general other stuff. Like I said, maybe restaurants or certain books and stuff like that, but I do know what my first review for Gaming Do Reviews is going to be. But you'll have to wait till that comes out. I'm not even going to give you a hint. Okay, that's it, guys. I hope you guys like this series, because as of right now, 20 questions is officially over. So, I hope you guys like this series. It's been fun, but since I've been doing this for 5 years now, I've had to come up with so many questions. 200 to be exact. So, or is it? No, I believe it's... No, it's 400 questions. I've come up with 400 questions for this series. So, yeah, that being said, it really is starting to become hard to come up with certain questions when you've answered 400 questions in this series. So, unfortunately, this is where we part ways with 20 questions. I hope you guys like this series, and that's about it. Gaming Do here. See you later. Bye.